Val Davin's son Martin was diagnosed with autism at the age of 4. Almost a year ago, Val discovered a program called Relationship Development Intervention, which helps children on the autism spectrum by teaching techniques to their parents.
These techniques are then used to help the children gain a better understanding of the world around them. Val joins us this morning to tell us about the difference the treatment has made to her son's life. We're also joined by Declan Sweeney, who has brought the treatment to Ireland for the first time. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Val, let me come to you first. Your little boy Martin was diagnosed with autism at the age of 4.
Yeah, 4 years, 9 months.
So maybe before we talk about the treatment, can you give us an idea of how Martin was?
Well, he was lovely. He was a happy, bubbly little boy, but there was very little understanding there, and it would make him very frustrated. He would have tantrums and meltdowns a lot because he didn't really understand what was going on.
Where would he have been on the spectrum?
Well, he's high functioning.
Okay.
He's fairly high functioning, but I just knew I have an older daughter as well, and I could tell that he was very, very different from her development.
You could tell from an early age that he wasn't hitting those kind of natural milestones.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Although it was disguised a bit because I used to run music classes, so he knew loads of nursery rhymes, but the actual understanding of what he was saying wasn't there.
Okay, and that classic case of frustration with children who suffer from autism, he'd pull his eyelashes and his hair and things like that.
Yes, yeah, he'd when he got really stressed, he'd pull big chunks of his hair out and pull his eyebrows and eyelashes out. And
so when you found out that it was autism, I don't know, some parents say that it's a blessing because they know what they're dealing with. Some say then it adds because it's such a complex area. So how was that for you?
You do go through a period of grief. I was actually doing music therapy with children who were severely autistic, and I was in denial because my son was nothing like these children. He was bright and bubbly. But you feel you've failed, you feel you've done something wrong, and you do feel a terrible grief, and then you start trying to find what you can do to help.
Okay, because of the shortness of time, I want to fast forward you to the last couple of years. You discovered that he was autistic, you took all the necessary steps. I'm assuming you followed a lot of the conventional therapies.
Absolutely.
Or probably tried all of them.
Absolutely, yes.
And then you arrived about a year and a half ago at a point where you felt that everything that had been done had only taken him so far and had missed some major points, which were what did you do to rectify that?
Well, not only missed, but when he was first diagnosed, we were actually warned that by the time he was age 10, there was nothing more that can be done. And when he got was after 10 years old, it seemed to be true. He seemed to be regressing. The meltdowns seemed to be getting worse. Everything seemed to be on top. But I did hear about RDI therapy that was developed. I'm sure Declan will say it was developed in America. But it's actually an old thing that stroke victims have been using for a long time, because stroke victims want a quality of life back. All the traditional therapies are dealing with how we can get these children's behaviours to fit into society, and doesn't really touch their quality of life, whereas this actually goes into the understanding why he's getting upset. He now knows how to deal with it, and
okay, well, let's bring Declan in here. Declan, you're the director of Reconnect,
yes,
which is an autism consultancy and training organisation, but you have a long history of involvement with autistic services and autism services in the UK.
Yes, so I've worked in the field of autism probably 16, 17 years at this stage, and in the UK I established residential services for both adults and adolescents. And I did that for a good number of years before returning to Ireland. And I think when I returned to Ireland, having worked with people who were very much dependent, when I returned to Ireland, I had a look around and to see what the system was like here. And I couldn't find anything that really struck me as being very innovative. So my research took me to America, really, and I came across a program in Houston, Texas, and within a few weeks of finding out about it, I was over in Texas training, and that training took about 18 months.
This focuses on the parents,
yes,
who obviously are the primary carers, and particularly with autistic children, would spend maybe more than an above normal amount of time with their children in any case.
Absolutely.
So therefore they also are not just just the primary carers, but they're also the principal educators.
They are.
This program is about equipping them to do that better, is it?
Yes, and no one has a bigger emotional investment in a child's treatment and education than a parent. So empowering parents, I think, is key to the program. But it's way more than that. It's very different from traditional approaches here in Ireland in that it's a developmental approach to the treatment of autism. If we think about autism, you know, we talk about it in terms of a triad of impairments where children have certain symptoms. But behind every symptom, there is a developmental profile of milestones that have failed to happen. And our job really is to look at the developmental milestones that a child has not hit, that a typically developing child will hit effortlessly, and go back and work on those. And really the focus is on engagement. Actually, you know, what we're experiencing right now is engagement. We're attuned, you know, and there'll be varying degrees of attunement throughout the interview. But for a child on the spectrum, a lot of the time they're disengaged. And as a result, you know, if we're not paying attention or we haven't got that joint attention with those around us, learning can be very, very difficult.
Declan, if there's a parent watching this morning who has an autistic child at home, how do they access this and how much does it cost?
The cost varies. Well, how do they access it? They give us a call and we come along free of charge to do an initial consultation with people, and then if they want to proceed, we have an initial program that is about parent education, and the cost of that ranges depending on where people are in the country. Because I'm in Westport and we have a consultant in Delgany and Wicklow as well, Katrina, and really the huge cost associated, or not the huge cost, the significant cost associated with it is travel. But we're innovative in what we do. We use a lot of video.
So if I'm the parent, Declan, I'm going to a class?
No, we're coming to you.
You're coming to the home?
We're seeing the child and the family in their natural environment. It's not a one-fits-all approach.
Okay.
It's very much designed around the family and the child.
So it's case by case?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, look, it's a very complex area, and you know, we've been doing interviews on this over 12, 13 years here, and we've only ever scratched the surface of it, so I suspect that we may speak to you again. But for the time being, thank you both very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Reconnect Autism Consultancy and Training, and I presume there's a website, is there?
There is www.reconnectautism.org.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much.